Welcome to the Q.A.C. Team Podcast, your quality assurance consulting team. Quality is our highest priority for your business with one goal, one direction, success. And now here's your host, Charles Luttrell. Good morning, listeners. My next guest comes from sunny California. Good morning, Ashad.
Good morning.
How you doing this bright and early morning?
I'm good, man. Hopefully we get some sun today. It's been raining for the past few days.
Oh no, it's sunny here. It's been good weather here in Maryland for winter time.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
And I was going to say I'm jealous of you living in California.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of rain.
Oh man, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and
Cool.
get started. Let's go ahead and tell our audience who you are and what you do.
Okay, my name is Ashad Ruffin. I'm actually originally from Maryland, from Baltimore, East Baltimore to be exact.
Great.
Yeah, so I own a food stand here in San Diego. I work with local breweries and we operate as their functioning kitchen. We also sell Maryland cuisine, things like crab cakes, crab mac and cheese. We sell wings, truffle fries, and other soul food classics like mac and cheese and yams for catering options.
That's great. Yeah, before we go any further, I did want to mention that I was told that you were one of the fortunate ones to be able to get some original Maryland crab cakes out to California.
Yeah, so I'm one of the only places you can find Maryland crab cakes in San Diego. Yeah,
That's awesome. I don't want to mention that because that's pretty special, right? I mean, that's good that, companies that I know ship across the country, but you're the one that actually, you can only get them there.
right. Yeah, I'm the only one that actually makes it here.
And you make it there, right?
Yeah.
That is great. So tell us a little bit, why'd you decide to be a business owner? What drove you?
Honestly, I always picture myself owning a business because, to be quite frank, I'm a terrible employee.
He said, to be honest.
So yeah, it was only natural that I would be a business owner because that's for other people if it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we started in 2020 in the pandemic. So selling dinners out of the house. Well, let me back up first to get you into how we actually started. So, during the pandemic, everything was shut down.
Right.
And at first, I was just doing Uber and Lyft in San Diego. So that's how I was making money.
Mm-hmm.
But once the pandemic happened, of course, everything went to a standstill. And I didn't have any money coming in at the time. And then to make matters worse, COVID was spreading like crazy on the East Coast. And one of the casualties was my grandmother. She got COVID and ended up dying in 2020. So it kind of threw everybody off,
Yeah, sorry to hear that your grandmother passed. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was sad. So it was the height of the pandemic too when she passed. So we couldn't really have a funeral or anything.
Man, sorry to hear that. It was tough. It was a
Yeah.
tough time.
So after going through all that, I was like, all right, it's time to kind of figure out something else to do. So
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking in her memory, I was like, man, why don't I sell her food? And I just started doing dinners out of the house and promoting it on Instagram. And people started following, seeing the story. And customers started coming. So I did that. I used to do every Saturday, I would sell dinners out of the house. And then that turned from every Saturday to Saturday and Monday to Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday. And then it picked up from there. So people started reaching out to us, different breweries, different markets, wanting us to come and work their events. At the time, we didn't really have any experience, any equipment. So I had to figure all this out on the fly and by piece and figure out what works and what didn't work. And our first event was an actual disaster. It was a farmer's market at a church. And we had ordered all this equipment. I had to rent like one of those commercial deep fryers that stand up. Before in my life. So I order it. We get to the event, fill it with oil, and it doesn't turn on when we get to the event. So I don't know how to use it. Yeah. So it took us about 40 minutes to figure out how to even turn the deep fryer on and get it right. And by this time, people had already started coming in, and the person I had working with me, she was already taking orders, which was a terrible idea. So we were backed up. Probably about 20 tickets before we even got the deep fryer going. And we couldn't get any, man. By the time we would drop fries, the temperature would get cold and we couldn't even bring it back. So I had to pivot and use the facility and take a pan and fill it with oil and try to fry chicken that way. It was crazy, man.
Oh.
Yeah. And I
bought what a learning experience, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a learning experience. And my girlfriend, she was ready to cry that day. Yeah, I was trying to hold it together.
We're failing.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell her, like, man, you don't think I want to cry too, man?
Right. That's great.
Yeah.
So you told us about, want to cook food. And my next question is, why did you choose your industry? So tell us a little bit about your food and how you got started and what made you drive towards the industry of doing a food truck and wanting to get, cooking some food.
Well, before COVID, I had always talked about doing food, doing a food truck because people like my cooking. But after my grandmother passed, I think that was the catalyst that pushed me into that to make a commitment. And then I named the business after my grandmother. So it's kind of hard to quit something when you do it in honor of somebody.
Right.
So that's kind of the driving force. So even days when you like, I don't feel like doing this, it's like, I'm not going to let my grandmother fail. And that's how I look at it in the back of my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good philosophy, right? Just keep going, keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Keep making it work, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as the cuisine, I just pretty much just took all our recipes that growing up with, which I learned over the years, and just figured out how to make recipes. And that was another tricky point because growing up, I don't know if you know, but like soul food is not really a lot of recipes written down on paper. It's more like eyeballing it and things you pick up over time.
A little of this, a little of that.
Yeah, so
extra
that
loving.
Yeah, so that was one of the things that was tricky, trying to create an actual recipe. So everything is standard. So it's not like different this day and different the next day.
Right.
So I had to figure that out, which it wasn't as hard, but it was something that I really needed to do. Yeah.
And that's interesting you're bringing that up because my next question, pushing into, what are some of the challenges you faced? I want to talk about, after getting this initial, the farmers market disaster. What were some of the challenges that you faced, getting this thing going?
Um, I would say for anything, the biggest challenges for most small businesses, I would say, is when you're not in the industry, is learning the industry on the fly.
Mm,
Yeah, those are the biggest challenges.
yeah.
Even when you don't even know you have challenges, you know, because it's certain things where I learned later where I was overpaying for certain items or uh, wasn't using the right equipment. And then once I started meeting more and more people in the business, they were able to help me out with that
Hmm.
and steer me in different directions because yeah, I was overpaying for a lot of stuff.
Hmm. I think that happens to a lot of people. They get an idea, they want to be a entrepreneur, a small business owner, and we tend to dive headfirst in and and really want to tackle a business. We don't realize what's involved and how much is involved and what needs to be put together for a business. And when we look back, we're like, man, I can't believe where I came from and how everything worked out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you waste a lot of money early if you don't have proper mentorship or guidance.
A
But
lot of time and a lot of money, right?
yeah, whole lot of time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you've been in business since 2020 now?
Yeah, so been started in 2020 selling out of the house and then started doing the breweries and markets
Uh-huh.
in 2021.
Nice. So going around 3, 4 years now, going steady. What are your expectations for your business the next year or two? What are you hoping to accomplish?
So my goals, I'm trying to do more bigger events.
Hmm.
We've been focusing more and more on the event side because the restaurant side here is costly because California is just expensive in general.
Yeah.
But it's costly and it takes time to open restaurants here. So even if you get a building, it may take you months before you can operate it.
Hmm.
But with the bigger breweries and the bigger events, you can pretty much do that within a month or so if you got all your licensing and everything straightened out.
Hmm.
And it brings good money and it's less overhead.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's great. Awesome. So how do we reach out to you? How do we contact you?
You can contact us through our phone line, or you can also check out our Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. It's under Lucy Mae's Kitchen.
And that's LUCYMAES.
Yep,
Lucy
Kitchen.
Mae's Kitchen. I'll put that in the show notes. A link to Instagram, or you want Instagram or Facebook in the show notes?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Do you want Instagram or Facebook in the show notes? I'll add a link to your contact for you in there.
You could put it on Instagram.
Instagram. Okay. Awesome. I will do. Well, Ashad, I really appreciate you taking the time this one. I know it's early there to speak to me about your business and what you do and how you do things.
Oh,
Do you have anything else that you want to add? Anything you want to talk about?
no, that's about it. Just I appreciate you reaching out and wanting to share our story.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you got for us for some advice from California to Maryland since you were a native Marylander?
Advice. If I would talk to anybody in Maryland or Baltimore on the East Coast, remember the world is bigger than Baltimore. Yeah, don't be afraid to step outside of there, man.
Man, that is so true. It's great that you had mentioned that because that's exactly what my vision is, with Q.A.C. team is take this on the road. And I want to physically visit every state in every city and just do my podcasting live and reach out to people, try their food, do the reviews for your business, and really just meet people and have a good time.
Yeah, man. They do it.
So,
It's nothing
yeah.
like it. Shoot.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I
So
get
I'm
it.
hoping to be in California and actually, eating off of your food stand and being out there and meeting you and enjoying those Maryland crab cakes in California.
Yeah. And this for another thing. Yeah, don't be afraid, because the only reason I'm in San Diego is I took a huge leap of faith and
Wow.
stayed on a friend of mine couch that I met for maybe about a month or so. And I
Mm-hmm.
came out in 2012 the first time initially, and stayed for 3 months and blew through my savings, couldn't find work, and came back to Baltimore and stayed for another 2 years in Baltimore, where I worked at University of Maryland, and ended up quitting my job and going back to San Diego and staying on the same friend couch again until
That's great.
and did Uber and Lyft to
Mm-hmm.
make money the second time. So if
great.
I can figure it out, anybody can figure it out.
Man, what a story, right? Absolutely.
Yes.
That is great. I'm pushing through, man. That's exactly what I'm doing here. Just going forward, man, and trying to make this work.
All right, man. Hope to
Awesome.
hear from you soon, then.
Absolutely, sir. Ashad, thanks again for coming on. I loved your story and share it with my audience. And we'll be in touch soon.
All right. Keep me posted.
Yes, sir. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
All right, you too.
Thank you. Bye.
You've been listening to the Q.A.C. Team Podcast with your host, Charles Luttrell. Connect with us on the web at qacteam.com, Facebook and Instagram at qac.team. Thanks for listening.